is way too much damage. Stop him with the block! He fell charge jump!
Oh, and he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, what?
He gets out!
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this seed.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every seed
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to the last of our 5 races today for the Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer Tournament of 2021. My name is Pugo Racer, and I am here with Turtle Guy for our last match of the night. How are you doing, Turtle?
Oh man, I'm so happy that today has gone so well for Ori, and there's still yet more to come.
It is the greatest that we have so many incredible runners going at it, fighting out for rando supremacy with this match. Now we have, for our last race, we have Jay Halcyon versus bdbrufus. Jay Halcyon started with all skills and then eventually, very soon after, came over to rando and stayed on the dark side ever since. He has discovered the Hal Stomp, which is a piece of tech that we might be able to see in this race, maybe not, and just likes to go fast, be it online or actually on real life with his feet.
Meanwhile, Rufus, on the other hand, is just an all-skills player, but that doesn't mean his rando skills are any less worthy of this stage than Hal's. He does play on a controller, which is interesting, because it might give him a slight disadvantage if we find Bash Nade, but otherwise, the two methods of input are very comparable, and we'll hope to see that and show that off in this race.
What are you hoping to see after everything that's happened today?
After everything, well, we still haven't seen Watervein Mapstone 9, of course. So I think a long seed like that would be very fun as a cap to this amazing day of Ori. What about you, Poogle?
I want to see Watervein in someplace a little bit more interesting than where it's been for the past few seeds or so. Watervein hasn't been in horror all that much, but personally, I want to see Watervein in somewhere like Forlorn. Make our runners go deliberately out of the way looking for stuff.
Absolutely. So yeah, if we do end up seeing a long seed like either of us want, we'll be very happy, and our runners might not be, but hey, you never know what's going to happen when you load up a randomizer seed, as our runners are about to do right now.
Well, we do know one thing is going to happen.
And what is that, Poogle?
Well, there's going to be randomized things. Basically, hoping we're going to get at least a skill or a teleporter. There's going to be something at least that lets our runners get out of the main area of the game after getting sign and running around. As Hal is giving us good luck on our rando, which means we're probably going to have to look to Rufus to see what it actually is, and it's only 15 experience. So, wait a second, that's vanilla.
Vanilla pickups can always happen. This energy cell here looks vanilla, but it's not. We don't randomize this one, but every other pickup in the game could be vanilla. That'd be interesting to see if the entire seed was, but
well, that's especially funny because all of the experience numbers are also randomized. That one just happens to also be 15 experience.
But we do manage to get down to another experience, which isn't experience this time. It is, in fact, Charge Jump, one of the most powerful skills in the game, and runners will be glad to have that very early on.
Charge Jump is great. I know a lot of runners don't really like Charge Jump seed starts, because it is a very particular way that you have to play the seed.
Yeah,
I think the second energy cell. Alright, not bad, not bad.
Having Charge Jump means you can access a lot of areas, like Blackroot Burrows, without having wall interaction. So it is absolutely a peculiar way to play the seed, but one that our runners have both done in practice many, many times. And we'll see that both runners are indeed going straight into Blackroot to find some more pickups and do this first tree of their race.
They're both going to skip this cutscene, which gives them a slow zone, but it means they don't have to watch 20 or so seconds of things that we don't have to worry about, because this is rando. but they do this with a save anywhere. So when, I'm gonna interrupt
Ooh.
myself because Sorrow Teleporter is really nice, especially when, you don't have immediate left side access. But as I was saying, a save anywhere is where you bring up the menu where you level up all your ability points, and then you can move behind it, which means that once you level up an ability point, it saves the game. So you don't have to have a save right where you are or a teleporter right where you are in order to make sure that you have a save just in case either you need to do something like skip a cutscene or make sure nothing goes awry.
Yeah, and so we'll see those both runners use that trick a couple times throughout the run, possibly even later on in Blackroot here, as we see both of them using this orb, which follows Ori around. They're manipulating the orb by just leaving the area and coming back in, so that they can be at the top of the area a lot faster than they would have to be just slowly walking while carrying the orb otherwise.
And Hal actually split second Alt R's. Now what Alt R is, it just takes you right back to the start in case you either get soft locked or you get to an area you can't progress through. He did that because he was going up through back where he came, but he was gonna die in the spikes. Use the Alt R to make sure that he wouldn't.
Yeah, there are a couple of damage boost spikes that are really easy to take, but especially at the start of the game when both of our runners only have the beginning value of 3 health, those can be very, very scary. And so Hal managing to Alt R there saved him from a very unfortunate death.
Now, both runners are going to have enough experience, and Rufus is even going to go and make sure he has enough to skip this next cutscene. Now, okay, does manage to save it. Is going to have to wait for this platform cycle, unfortunately, but does not die. And platform cycles might be slow, but dying is slower.
Yeah, absolutely. Blackroot is an area that is absolutely full of auto-scrollers like this. Luckily with skills, especially with charge jump, we can skip quite a few of them, and that'll let Rufus get right back into the action and head his way over to the dash tree, where we are about to see Hal pick up his first tree.
Oh
boy.
my goodness.
Oh, it is Grenade. Wow.
So that's important for a number of reasons. One, Grenade is the first skill that our runners have gotten this seed that is blue plant breakage. Means that they can break blue plants, blue walls, that weird not quite a ceiling thing that holds the spider sack up. However, it is also something that will unlock the grenade lock pickups.
Yeah, and in addition to that, if our runners get Bash, it will give them Bash nades, and if they get Climb, it will get them Grenade jumps. Grenade is just such a versatile skill, and to find it this early is incredible for our runners to have.
Now, if we do find Bash, Halcyon actually said before the match that he really does like charge jump Bash nade starts, so that'll be a really nice comfort zone for him.
Meanwhile, Rufus, while he'll probably be fairly comfortable with it, he is a controller player, and Bash nade on controller is just a little bit more difficult than it is on keyboard mouse. So it'll be a little bit of an uphill battle if this does in turn out to be a Bash nade seed.
Hal skipping around this Frankie, making sure that he doesn't kill the Frankie on the off chance. He wants to use it later, does fall off the log, but easily manages to get back over, still without killing the Frankie. Because once that Frankie dies, that Frankie does not respawn.
Yeah, and that Frankie is so valuable. If the runners don't find Stomp or Climb, the only way into lower Blackroot, where the grenade tree is to use that Frankie in a trick called Reverse Walk. So keeping him alive is of the utmost importance for these two runners.
Now, Jay Halcyon getting one of those grenade locked pickups, as I said, with the lantern that you have to light in order to open a wall or... Ooh, there's double jump.
Ooh. Yeah, double jump doesn't unlock anything in particular this early on, but it is very, very nice to have, as it just gives you a lot more air mobility and air retention.
It also technically gives our runners wall interaction. It is not in logic and wall interaction in the slightest, but if you double jump against a wall and then move away from the wall and quickly move back to the wall, well, you get double jump, wall interaction. But that's not quite as important as dash.
Yeah, absolutely. Dash, as the name would implies, lets our runners just zip across the map very quickly. But what it also will allow us to do, with a couple more ability cells, is break blue plants, which our runners can do with grenade, but also dash to enemies, do a trick called rocket jump that lets us gain a lot of height, and it is just another one of those super, super versatile skills that Hal now has right in his arsenal.
Yeah, showing off a little bit of that double jump wall interaction, kind of fell off the platform there, but by double jumping back and forth from the side of it, managed to get himself back up to that top of that platform. Is going to go back down towards the wall jump tree, and the rest of Blades.
And Rufus is following right behind, grabbing dash of his own and heading towards the charge flame tree to grab that as well. That is both of our runners' second trees.
I like Mega Energy. That Mega Energy does give our runners a little bit of leeway as to where they might want to go as far as 4 energy doors, even though they don't have 4 energy logically. Now, this could either mean that they save that for the Bladezer, which is the Grenade's laser door. Wow. Blade's laser door. Grenadezer is another pickup that is above that, which they can't get to just quite yet. Or they could save that and go right from start and go into Moon Grotto that way. The game isn't going to expect either of our runners to do that, but it is something to keep in mind if they decide to go that start.
And also, whatever it is, they can only choose one of those 2 paths to use their Mega Energy for. Once an energy from Mega Energy is used, it does not return to the players. So with only 7, they can only open up 1 4 energy door before they're back to 3 energy.
Now we're going to see our 3rd tree on... Ooh! Okay, I thought he is going to go for that. Is he? Okay, he's getting Charge Dash. Charge Dash is incredibly important. Charge Dash is what you mentioned with those fancy rocket jump type things. Going for the blind movement to get this energy cell kind of misses it.
And due to his menuing there, I don't think we actually saw what the first clue was. But we are about to see, oh boy, on Rufus' screen, Sunstone will be in Misty. That
Excellent.
is excellent for us. Maybe not something that our runners want to see very much, especially
at least they don't have to worry about it being grenade locked.
True. I would have to wonder when our runners will try and go into Misty, because it could be in the early seconds of Misty, it could be very late. Ooh, Rufus takes a little bit of an unfortunate death there, but just climbing back up.
Oh my goodness. So, Hal killed the Frankie that you normally would get to stomp this floor right here. However, he's taken the Frankie from up above because he has charge jump, and is going to get rewarded with stomp for that.
Yeah, wow. Just, again, another skill that opens up quite a bit of the map. There are quite a few pickups that are locked behind Stomp or Grenade. So having both of those means that there's not going to be a whole lot that Hal and Rufus, or Hal at least with Stomp right now, will really have to dig for super, super hard.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Rufus is going to go into the Spirit Caverns area of Glades. Has what looks like 2 keystones? So isn't going to immediately be able to go into the Hollow Grove area, and it is in fact going to take the rest of that Mega Energy and follow Halcyon into Grotto.
Yeah, and I think that Spirit Caverns is always a decent play. It only costs 2 keystones to enter, and it's fairly dense, having 5 pickups in it that can be checked really quickly if you have any form of wall interaction or verticality.
Goodness.
So Rufus now has those, whereas
Hal taking this save anywhere, all just so many places.
Yeah, he's already very low on ability cells again, but he only needs 1 in order to perform a save anywhere. And with charge jump on that green tree, there's not a ton more he needs on that tree, so he can level up the purple tree very quickly, and that's exactly what he's doing.
So Rufus did open the grotto door, but is actually going to go and take the route from into Hollow Grove. Is going to go through Spider Sack area instead.
And yeah, since Mega Energy is not logical progression for the 4 energy door, this is actually what is logical progression for Rufus to follow right now. So if he finds a skill through this, that could be a very heads-up play on his end, whereas Halcyon is skipped logic a little bit in order to get into Grotto early. Oh boy. on Rufus's scene, we do see the Forlorn Teleporter activated. That's not an area that our runners will typically want to go to. There's no tree in Forlorn at all. But if it ends up having something in it, that Forlorn Teleporter could come in very much handy for Rufus.
However, that is locked behind wall interaction currently.
Oh, that's a good point.
And
The
as
double
much as
jump
we
does
love
not
to meme
count.
about it, double jump is in fact not proper wall interaction.
And Hal landed on a set of spikes in a cutscene, so he didn't take damage for a while. Health regen just got him up a little bit, and he managed to survive. That was pretty fun to see.
Hal is going through the Moon Grotto area down towards the double jump tree. Rufus is going to grab this swamp teleporter, which people will always either forget it or just manage to get the pickup for it, but it's always just really nice to have.
Yeah, it's also typically the best teleporter in order to get into Horu at the end of the game. Aside from, of course, the Horu teleporter itself, which in a competitive seed like this, they won't find that as a pickup. They'll have to get it manually.
Looks like Rufus is going to go all the way around towards Moon Grotto that way. He
Yeah,
can get all of the pickups on the way, so...
It's being very thorough. So if Rufus is looking for an extra skill, like Bash especially, to complete the 3 power skills, that'd be a very great find for him. Meanwhile, Halcyon on the double jump tree does find clean water, which is going to make his escape a lot easier.
Also means that Stomp is properly gottable. As our lovely truck is putting that, so Dash put the grenade tree in logic. Now the entirety of Lost Grove is in logic.
Yeah, we could absolutely see one of our runners go down there being very thorough in an area that the community absolutely treats as a meme, and for decent reason. It's pretty slow, but it does often contain things, as it can be reached with just a couple of things like Stomp and Dash.
Well, there's wall interaction.
Ooh.
So anything that might not have been in logic prior because of, not being able to properly go up walls, it's in logic now.
Yeah. Wall interaction is always just very nice to have. Double jump, it doesn't count. It's very hard to use and can be a little bit painful on the hands if you're going for minutes on minutes of only having double jump as wall interaction.
Yeah, and Rufus is going to get that at the Grove map like Hal did, because that's the first mapstone that Rufus has put in. Well, that was Hal's second.
Yes. And Rufus also has found 4 energy, which does put the 4 energy doors in logic, like the one that Hal went through using the mega energy earlier on in the seed.
Well, there's that mapstone for Rufus, so that'll help a lot.
Absolutely. And over on Halcyon's side of the screen, we do see him absolutely rushing, sprinting through trees. That is almost like the meta of Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer right now, because the runners do need all 10 trees in order to complete the final escape. So you might as well look for the trees and see what you get along the way.
The other nice thing about the trees is that every 3 trees, our runners are going to get a clue to one of where the 3 dungeon keys is. Now, unfortunately, the Gumon seal is not normally required because there's nothing in Forlorn, but the Water Vein is required to get to the Bash tree, and the Sunstone is required to get into Horu for the final escape. We already know that the Sunstone is in Misty somewhere, but we don't know where the Water Vein is just yet.
Yeah, and there are a couple of areas that our runners would probably not like to see the Water Vein be in. Linear areas like Misty, or something very late in the seed like Horu. So Halcyon especially is looking for those trees to try and get that clue for the Water Vein as soon as possible. Just so
There's one of those rocket jumps like you mentioned.
Yep. It's a very fast form of vertical movement. It just requires an enemy, but when a mortar shot or something like that is around, our runners can just fly upwards.
Well, that'll be Hal's 5th tree.
Meanwhile, Rufus is still on 3. He was a lot more thorough in his earlier checks, though. So that might be the reason for the difference in trees right now, is that Rufus has just checked more of the Lost Grove area and Spider Sack, or not Lost Grove, Hollow Grove and Spider Sack, as opposed to Hal just sprinting at double jump, sprinting at climb tree.
Could very well be heading towards... Yes. Oh, okay. So instead of taking the teleporter to Blackroot and going down that way, Hal is making a very specific pit stop. Or is... Oh, he's making a liar out of me. So one of the pickups that Hal always says that he's going to make sure he goes and does is the dash plant. And that's where I thought he was going to go, but it turns out I was wrong.
Yeah, that dash plant is just a little bit off screen, so it's very hard to see and remember. In addition, you need blue breakage to get it, as well as a way to get up there, like charge jump, bash grenade, glide. And so Hal is skipping it for now. Might go back there later, unlikely, but while he's down here, he is going to get his 6th tree and his 2nd clue, which is very important for him.
Or I could have just forgotten that he got it on the initial pass, because apparently I just forgot about it. Goodness, these runners are going so fast.
Absolutely. I don't think they even had enough skills to get it the first time through.
They got grenade right there, so...
True. But, yeah. Might have skipped it, might have gotten it. We don't know anymore. We'll have to watch it back, but as of right now, where we are still commentating a very active race, it is hard to say.
So Rufus is going to take the other route into Swamp. Rather than going the upper way that Hal did, he's going to go the lower route instead. Both perfectly viable ways of getting in here.
Yep. And both sometimes require slightly different skills. For example, Rufus could have done this entrance without Stomp at all. But, of course, and he doesn't actually have Stomp. That is why. Meanwhile, on Hal's screen, we see him with that Sorrow TP that they got very, very early on the seed. He is continuing to just go for every tree in the game as... Oh, boy.
There is 3 of 3 root. Okay. Turtle, what does this mean? And why am I so impressed or happy about this?
3 out of 3 means that Jay Halcyon has all 3 skills required for grenade jumps. That is charge jump, grenade, and climb. And as we're about to see right there, grenade jumping lets you move very, 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 very fast across the map. It's a little bit of a frame perfect trick, but Halcyon has just pulled off quite a few of them in a row, showing that he knows what's up, he knows how to do them, and boy oh boy are we ready to see some more.
I could see him going back down from the Sorrow teleporter all the way down to Valley and into Misty, because he did say before the race that is one of the paths he really likes to do, is to go from the Sorrow all the way down through.
Yep, and he is missing Glide, so the best way to do that probably would be to teleport back to the TP and use that upper path instead of trying to go through what we call Dorito Cave, a very, very spiky area that would kill him in about 2 hits with his current amount of health.
Luckily, we don't need to worry about going through here yet. We still don't know where the water vein is. But in standard logic, not much can be up in Sorrow in the way of skills if it's not directly going down towards Valley.
Yeah, and down towards Valley is exactly what we're going to see Halcyon do right now. Finds Warmth returned, the most useful pickup in the game, obviously. He is immediately, oh boy, almost drops down, but manages to stomp on that rock, which will get him already his 8th tree. He is just flying through this list of trees, almost finding his 9th soon, and that'll be his last clue, which is super, super important, because that's the water main.
And considering that Hal has to pick up all of the pickups in Misty on the way looking for the Sunstone, getting the 9th clue in Misty means that if the water vein is also... Oh my goodness. If the water vein is somehow in Misty as well and is not in the first half, Hal still has to keep looking. But we just found the Gumon seal on Feather, which is not technically a tree, but it's also a skill, so we count it as a tree.
Yeah, that'll allow him, if he so chooses, to put Forlorn in logic and go through that.
Oh no!
Rufus accidentally kills that frog with a level up. that frog will not respawn if killed, so that means Rufus has to reload. He does a very heads-up play and gets a level up before doing this reverse Frunky Walk. But he does have to do it all over again because of that very unfortunate level up blast, which killed the frog.
Yeah, level up blasts are normally really great because they'll kill everything on screen. Oh no! They'll kill everything on screen, but that frog is susceptible to basically anything that hits it, which includes if it jumps into the spikes, and if it takes a long hop, it's gonna die. Rufus is doing this because he doesn't have Stomp, which is in Death Gauntlet.
Yeah, the only other thing that would be able to get him through this breakable floor is Climb, which, as we know, is in Sorrow, which also requires Stomp to get to. Oh, this frog is just not being very friendly today, unfortunately. It's leading Rufus to bleed a little bit of time just due to this frog being a jerk, as Hal is continuing to further his lead by just chasing more and more trees.
Hal continuing to do very silly things like grenade jumping through the entirety of Misty. Now,
Very silly, but very cool.
Very cool and very effective, considering he has triple jump, yes, but he doesn't have bash, he doesn't have glide. So Misty can be a little bit of a problem, but not for these runners.
Absolutely. We see Hal just sliding through with double jump, triple jump, and dash, barely taking any damage from the spikes the entire way through. And that is a phenomenal job. Oh boy. There is the Sunstone. We knew it was in Misty somewhere, but Jay Halcyon has found it now and will not have to search even further. And there we also see, because of his 9th tree, that is the last clue. Water Vein will be in Swamp.
And Rufus gets it.
Phew. Is he gonna place a save? These lasers can be very deadly one-hit kills. So for the sake of my heart, I really do hope he places a save sometime soon. He's just gonna go through the lasers without saving. That is, oh man, he is just confident in his skills. I'll give him that. And it's great to see. Meanwhile, Halcyon is now back in Swamp, searching through what pickups there are left in this area. All he needs is the Water Vein in order to get into the Ginso tree. This has been an incredibly jet seed for Hal here.
So with what we know has been checked in Swamp, I believe it has to be in the Swamp Swim. I think. Unless runners... No, they did all of the Swamp Swim. Where did it have to be then?
It could be this energy cell up here. It could be a grenade-locked pickup that I don't believe either of our runners went back down to check.
Well, that energy cell is in logic with climb, charge jump, and double jump. As odd as a path that might be, it's...
True. So we're seeing Hal going to check the rest of the outer swamp loop, which does have quite a few more pickups for him. So we'll have to see what he finds. Rufus, on the other hand, is now making his own way into Sorrow. Not going for the charge jump tree in a typical way, which does mean, unfortunately, that he's missing out on Climb, which would be a lot helpful in order to break this floor. It's still possible, as we're seeing with him using charge jump and dash, because the charge jump state sticks around for a little while, even after dashing. And Rufus is abusing that. Takes a little death through a laser, nice safety save. He's using that to break through this floor that would otherwise require climb, charge jump, or stomp.
Well, the Water Vein is right next to the Ginso tree. That's nice.
How convenient, yeah. And that means that all Hal needs to do in order to finish the seed now is just to get up the Ginso tree into the Bash tree and then go to Forlorn. Or not Forlorn, go to Horu.
Unfortunately, Forlorn is not going to be something that we see in this seed from Hal. Probably not from Rufus either.
He might need to look for something like Climb or Stomp Unfortunately, Climb is very, very nearby in the other way to get out of Sorrow Teleporter. So we'll see if Rufus does figure that. And it looks like he might indeed, yes, be turning back, going towards Charge Jump Tree from the other direction, which will help him find Climb along the way.
I don't think he can get through that way, though. He doesn't have Climb, he doesn't have Stomp.
Oh, you're right. That is... that's important, because then the only way through is with Stomp, which we know to be in Death Gauntlet. Interesting. Absolutely. So we'll see what he does here, if he can manage to pull off a Charge Jump Dash. Oh my gosh, he does! There it is. That is what he's looking for, and now he finds Climb.
Oh wow, I'm just completely proven wrong. That's really neat.
Yeah, absolutely not in logic, but it is doable by a skilled player like Rufus. And that will get him, out of logic, access to this Charge Jump Tree. And from there, he can probably go and do the rest of the left side in a way similar to what Halcyon did earlier. Meanwhile, on Hal's side, that right there is the Bash Tree in his 10th tree. All he has left to do now is go to Horu and beat the final escape, which will give him the win on this very, very jet seed.
Meanwhile, Rufus does look like he is going to take the other route from the Sorrow Teleporter down into Valley now that he has Climb, Charge Jump, and can break those floors a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, the only thing that Rufus is missing that Halcyon had when he came through here earlier is Stomp, which does make things a little bit more convenient, but with Climb, Charge Jump, you can do a lot of the same things to most of the floors in this area. Oh man, Hal has been on point today with all of these great grenade jumps. Just
He's
flying
gonna
through
jump
this
off
area
the
of
rock.
fields. There he is, already at Horu, entering the door. We'll see if he chooses to use violence or a trick called Door Warp in order to get to the final escape. Look at that replay, how smooth that movement is. Bashing off, or grenade jumping off of that movable rock.
And
Oh,
Hal
I love
chooses
it.
the violence option. So there is a trick called Door Warp where if you save right in front of the Horu door and then reload in, the frame that you load in, or the frame after you load in, and then I can't remember which one it is. The point is, it is a frame perfect trip to get through the door and then get warped down below where Hal used Charge Jump plus other things to kill that boss.
Yeah, the door warp is such a weird and specific trick. It is often frame perfect, but like depending on hardware, I think it can be a couple more frames. It's just really, really weird. So violence is always an option. Just beat up that mini boss and you are through.
Rufus has just gotten his feather and is trying his best to get this grenade jump. There we go, all the way across Valley into Misty.
Yeah, that one is another frame perfect trick that, as Rufus shows, it's a little bit tricky to execute, but our runners both do have the muscle memory and the ability to do this trick, so... Oh, Rufus without Stomp is unable to break that floor. He might be worried that the Sunstone is behind that. Luckily for him, we know it's not. Sunstone is later on in Misty, so he is going to skip that pickup for now. Potentially thinking he has to come back, but once he finds the Sunstone, he will be in the clear and to leave Misty.
Speaking of leaving, Halcyon is through the final escape already.
Yeah,
And gets the final grenade jump too, so it's gonna skip a decent chunk of the last bit of the escape, which is really just awkwardly sitting there and then holding right. But it's gonna skip like, what, 40 seconds?
yeah, it's about half the cutscene. It's a very, very nice grenade jump to get, and Hal has just been absolutely showing off his stuff, zooming through this run with flying colors, and he is now about 30 seconds away from ending this seed. GG to Hal.
That is incredible.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Rufus is no slouch either. He has been absolutely zooming through the seed as well, just a little bit behind, missing key pickups like Stomp, unfortunately, but him getting his now, what, 9th tree at a little over 30 minutes is still very, very strong performance from his side.
Absolutely. Gonna be real happy here that he doesn't have to worry about having Stomp for that one pickup that he had to leave at the start of Misty, because there is the Sunstone for him. He's gonna get his 9th clue at the tree here to know that his Water Vein is in Swamp as well. And Halcyon has finished with a time of 31 minutes and 44 seconds. That is fast.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Holy cow, this seed just gave Hal so much to work with, and Hal knew all of the strats to just get through every area of this game, finish it off, and with an amazing, amazing time to show for it. Congrats to Hal. On Rufus' side of the screen, he does know that Water Vein is in Swamp, and that's the last thing he needs. So he quick took a look at his map to see what he has left to grab. And he is making the play towards Outer Swamp Loop, it looks like, to find whatever that final pickup may be that has the Water Vein. We know it's right outside the Ginso tree, interestingly enough. But we'll see what else Rufus decides to check on his way there.
Well, he hasn't done the swim yet, so he's got a decent amount more pickups that he has to check than Hal did.
Yeah, but with clean water, checking those pickups is fairly easy. It just takes a little bit of time to swim, but there's no danger to it. I mean, there are a couple of piranhas, but piranhas don't mean all that much. And it looks like we do have our winner, Hal, waiting to be interviewed. So we'll see if we can pull him in and ask him some questions about what he thought of this run.
GG, Hal.
Yeah, GG.
That was, oh my goodness.
How are you feeling?
My heart rate will come down eventually.
Yeah.
So at what point did you decide, nah, I'm good, and then just start zooming? Where did you decide, okay, that's enough, I have enough skills, I'm ready to go?
I think about Stomp, which was not very far into the seed. After that early seed jump and getting grenade in from the dash tree, it felt pretty fast already, and then dash came fast, and it was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'd like to know from you, if you don't mind, is what were your thoughts on finding those dungeon keys? Because those could have been something that really locked up the seed with Sunstone in Misty, and the Water Vein not known until Tree 9. What are you thinking about that?
I was a little bit concerned going into Misty about the Sunstone, because I think like the one hidden 200 XP at the end of Misty, I might have had some trouble getting to with what I had going into Misty. When I found Climb, that became less of an issue, because I knew that with a grenade jump, at least I could get there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Where were you hoping the Water Vein wouldn't be?
Well, I'd already checked the deep swim. It was just kind of I didn't know where the Water Vein could be, but I knew that I had already checked everything in Inner Swamp except for that high energy cell. I needed to check the Drain XP. I forgot during the run whether or not the stuff in the Access was Grotto or Swamp, so I checked those two just to be sure. And then it was just like, okay, I'm going to hit Swamp Loop. If I don't find it yet, I'll fling over and hit that ability cell up high. I mean, I had everything I needed to get to get to all the pickups, so I didn't really have a pickup that I was worried about.
So you got the Gumon Seal and the Forlorn Teleporter. Were you worried before seeing the Water Vein clue? Were you worried it was going to be somewhere in there?
Not particularly, because again, I had Stomp already, so I knew it couldn't be Stomp locked out, and the rest of Forlorn is definitely accessible. I think Valley would have been one of the ones that I would have been concerned with. Without Bash, Valley's kind of hard to navigate well. And I hadn't checked anything in Valley.
You just went.
Quick recap on the race as well. Rufus has now gotten his Bash tree, and he is now making his way to Horu, where he will also be able to initiate his final escape and finish off this race.
So, Hal, by winning this puts you against the winner of Sunny Muffin and Liftoff tomorrow. Who are you more looking to race? Who do you think would be your ideal for going up against?
You know, I've seen Liftoff quite a bit in the weeklies,
Ooh.
and
Hold on, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second there.
Yeah, wow.
So, Rufus does not have Stomp. Rufus does not have Bash. What Rufus did was a Charge Flame redirect, which is absolutely not in logic and not very easy to do. But like that, uses the momentum and the explosion from Charge Flame to just knock the Baneling over into the wall.
What an incredible trick to have shown off in a race like this. I'm blown away. That's awesome.
Was that C dash? Apparently, I'm mistaken. That was a Charge Dash redirect.
Might be even cooler then.
That's incredibly neat.
Uh-huh. Anyway, sorry about the interruption. Back to you, Hal. Your thoughts about your next race.
no worries. That's definitely worth calling out. I've seen Liftoff around in weeklies and the prelims quite a bit. I think we'd have a pretty good matchup. Sunny Muffin is, I know they've been around the rando community for a long time, but I think they haven't played a lot recently. So if I had to pick someone to go up against, I think I'd have a better chance against Sunny Muffin, but without having seen them play more, I really don't know if I can call a winner for that one.
That's some good insight. Thank you for that. On Rufus' side of the screen, we do see him going for the validation pickup. Unfortunately, not a skill. It's just an ability cell. He won't be ending this seed out with something fun like Bash, but he is making his way now down into the final escape, coming up on time for him after he completes this section as well.
Has to Charge Dash through these barriers because he doesn't have Stomp or Charge Flame, you know, the things that you might more normally use to break those things. Doesn't have to worry about dirty water. Both of you had clean water that you kind of couldn't really miss. And he's already out through there. Manages to not spawn Kuro for that last room, so he doesn't have to worry about getting absolute bird crunched.
And he is setting up now for that final grenade jump to skip about half that ending cutscene. Again, a little bit of a tricky trick. It's a single frame that you have between the inputs for charge jump and grenade in order to get this launch. But once he gets it, that'll be GG. Goodbye to 40 seconds of that cutscene. And congrats to Rufus. There it is.
And with that, Rufus will also be done with this seed. Still a very respectable time.
Yeah, absolutely. This seed gave runners a lot to play with, and Hal just rushed trees, which happened to be the play for this seed. So great job to both of our runners still for doing everything that they did, showing off some phenomenal tricks like G-jumps and a C-dash Baneling redirect.
That's just wild.
I've never seen that before, to be honest. I didn't know what he was doing until he did it, and then I was like, what?
Well, that will be GG for Rufus as well. Excellent play by both of our runners. I do believe we are also going to get Rufus in here for a bit of an interview after that has been all taken care of. GG, Rufus.
GG.
Thanks, GG, Halcyon.
So I think the first thing that I want to ask immediately to Rufus, I've never seen that charge dash redirect before. That was so cool to see. Have you been practicing that? What was your like plan for that? Did you like know about that? How? Oh my god, just what?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. What are you talking about? What C-dash redirect?
On
So
the
the
Baneling.
Baneling going into Horror Fields.
Oh, I don't know. I saw someone post something in Discord the other day, and I practiced it after that.
You've only known about that for a couple days. Wow, that's so cool. Oh
It's
man.
definitely not as hard as it looks.
It's still really neat to see, considering that you didn't have Bash, you didn't have Stomp, and you just decided, okay, Baneling, go break that for me, and it did. That looked so fluid.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, I mean, like one of the things that I've been practicing lately is trying to get faster go modes because I like tend to pick up a lot. I don't know if it was obvious here that I was skipping a lot of things. I probably skipped too much, but it was kind of nerves, and I wasn't sure what the correct decision was.
Yeah, speaking of skipping things, what were you thinking going into Upper Sorrow, not having Climb or Stomp in order to break those walls? What were you feeling like at that point in the race?
So that's something I definitely am not very practiced about, but I know, like, I don't even know which floors you technically can break with the charge jump, charge dash, and I completely got bailed out. So that was me. Like, so I just before that, I messed up the Frankie walk a lot. My early game, I had some really bad mistakes. I felt like I was very behind, and so I was just like, I don't have, like, I can't. I have to like just go for it, even though I don't know if I can do this or not. And I ended up getting really lucky, I think.
And we got to see some really cool floor breakage that's atypical to standard races.
So, Rufus, your next opponent is going to be Ernest. How are you feeling about that?
I don't know much about Ernest as a particular opponent. Like, I haven't seen him play a lot. So I'm not sure, but I still like, even though today I had some pretty bad mess ups, I'm still pretty confident with how I've been playing recently. So I feel confident going into my next matches.
All right, speaking of next matches, we have 2 matches for everyone tomorrow. There will be Sunny Muffin versus Liftoff at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is going to be a very different seed. Both runners have decided on a multitude of different settings, including bonus pickups and shards and open world. It is a time and a half. And at 4 p.m. immediately after that, it's going to be Grimelios versus Appletree at 4, which is going to be a controller versus controller player fight. So both matches are going to be excellent, and if you have the opportunity to tune in, please do so.
And I think for tonight, that is it from us. We would also like to thank Aiko and Oshi, who are doing Truck for us, as well as Jamal, who is our restreamer. With that, that is it for Ori for tonight. We will see you later. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.